It's time to turn your sensitivity from a struggle to a superpower. So let's get started.
Welcome to the I'm Perfectly Divine podcast, a place for the strong, sensitive, spiritual seeker to recognize the perfection of your human journey, as my work is to bridge both the emotional and spiritual worlds through proven and grounded frameworks that support you to live in the wholeness you already are. For over the past 2 decades, I have supported people from all around the world, as well as Fortune 500 companies, to dissolve the divisions within them and live with greater empowerment and love. This podcast is an exploration of the paradoxes that befuddle us as we live our lives being both human and divine. Together, you and I, along with other experts, will navigate integrating psychology and spirituality, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the darkness and the light, to create greater sacred union from within. I believe through your remembering that you are innately divine, that you will allow yourself to more openly shine. So let's get to it, because your unique light is needed more than ever.
Welcome, my strong, sensitive, spiritual people. I am so excited to be with you today. I'm thinking of you because it occurred to me when I was sharing with some people about the work that I do, and they turned to me in shock and said, wait, I can be sensitive and I don't have to suffer. And I'm like, no, you do not have to suffer. And in fact, it is hope for all of you, for every sensitive person, that you know that not only do you not have to suffer, but you can truly thrive, because you being so connected to what isn't seen, but is felt in your heart, that is so freaking powerful. And so that's what this episode is about, is to work through some of the ways we limit ourselves due to being sensitive, and then the inner shifts that you can make to start to turn the dial up so we can really tune into your sensitivity. Yeah, you are hearing me right. I want you to tune into your sensitivity. I'm going to share with you how, and to do it in a way that feels like it's life affirming rather than life depleting, which I think happens to so many of us. So first of all, I want to be really clear that I understand what it's like to be sensitive and suffer from it. I was born probably like you, feeling very sensitive from the get-go. And people were telling me, as they were probably telling you, to not be so sensitive. Right? And not only does that not work, it really doesn't provide us any guidance with how to work with this aspect of ourselves. And so we learn to hide it. We learn to be ashamed of it. And it only dials up our own mistrust in ourselves and how we were built. And so I want to change all this for you, because when we try to pretend to be something that we're not, that's not going to work, right? And so I've been there where I've tried to be tough, and then my body forsakes me as it starts shaking because I'm upset, or the tears start streaming down my face. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting to live that way. And it's so much freer. And there is so much more to life when we really learn what a gift our sensitivity is and how to work with it. So the only way I have found that actually allows me to be both sensitive and tap into my innate inner strength is by turning towards my sensitivity rather than against it, rather than run from it, rather than all these things that I tried to do to push away the fact that I was sensitive in a way that felt life depleting. And now to really honor this sensitivity and how it's guiding us. And I think we're getting better with this. I think more and more sensitive people are understanding that it's a gift. But then there's just those day-to-day moments where the sensitivity arises and you don't know what to do, and then you're in pain because you do feel so much. And this is what I want to support you, because our sensitivity really is here to make us feel more expansive and strong, actually. So it's becoming painfully clear to me that too many sensitive people just really don't know how to work with their sensitivity. They don't honor it completely as a gift. And this is really where we suffer, because you have likely initially learned that you've got to turn back your back on your true sense of self. So when we turn back on our innate nature, things are going to backfire for us. Life backfires for us. And that's where I see my sensitive people struggling. Even though you are so strong, you don't even know how strong you are, because you are taking in so much that you are actually stronger internally than most. But this is not amplified, it's not acknowledged. And today we're going to begin to shift a lot of that for you. So what I get is that you've been told to sit with your feelings. And I know how hard that is for you, because you'll do it. Like, you are not afraid to be with your feelings because you experience your feelings a lot, right? And so you try to be with them. But if you have not understood how to work with your negative feelings, you're not gaining the insight that they're meant to provide to you. And this is where the suffering comes in, because then you're just sitting in the negative feelings and the pain of them, and you're not getting a ton of clarity. Now, I get it. Journaling can be helpful, but you can't see what you can't see. And journaling is going to allow pieces to come forward, maybe ones that you weren't aware, but we ultimately want to go to an awareness that is beyond our conscious mind and get into more of our higher conscious mind, that your emotions are trying to bring you back to that part of you, to your innate truth, and your higher consciousness mind, which sees you and knows you in your power. So this is why I am a huge believer in integrating both the emotional and spiritual. We need that higher mind to guide us, and the need for all sensitives to please learn the language of your emotions. Feelings are our native tongue. This is the language we were born knowing, right? And just because we are born in a land where other people did not know that native tongue, doesn't mean that you should continue to ignore learning about it. And so now it's up to you, because it wasn't taught to you, to learn how to speak your innate native language. And you can do this by learning how your emotions are created for you. I mean, why else would we have them? They're there to guide you, to serve you, so that you can begin to trust yourself and these sensitivities, these insights that you're picking up through insight that you gain that others can't see, others can't feel. And you are able to pick up on that. And now we just want you to know how to learn to connect with that from a place that you bring understanding and insightfulness to yourself, which will lead to deeper self-love and self-trust in yourself, so that you can support others to believe in their inner knowingness as well, their sensitivity. Because truly, I think all of us are sensitive to a certain degree. We're born sensitive as children, and then others are better at learning to heighten other aspects of themselves where they don't have to rely on that sensitivity. And others of us are just like, oh no, this is part of your life's mission. This is part of your life's plan, where you are being guided to really tune into this power and this gift. So not knowing your native language, as you can imagine, is going to make life much, much more complicated and painful than it needs to be. And I just think about, like, when I did some traveling earlier this year, and I dropped my daughter off. We were at an airport in Sardinia, Italy. I dropped my daughter off at the gate with our luggage. And I had a rental car. It was like 5:30 in the morning, and I had to circle around the airport 3 different times. I stopped and I tried to ask someone to help. And of course, I didn't know the language. I couldn't read the signs. And I was just praying for help. I'm like, okay, this third time, don't make me, I don't want to cry over this. I really need to return this car. And thankfully, I was guided to return the car. But look at how complicated and stressful it was, right? When we don't know the language of the land that we are walking on, right? And emotions is a part of your land. It's a part of your landscape, right? And not understanding your native landscape and how you're built and how your blueprint is and the framework in which you operate from, it's not only painful and makes your life more complicated, it causes harm. So I want to be real about this. It causes harm because we turn mean and critical towards ourselves when we judge ourselves for being sensitive because we don't get it. And then if we're holding on to this, eventually we're going to lash out. Your emotions are going to come out sideways, and you'll take them out on someone else, right? And this is going to make us feel more ashamed. And so then all this criticalness becomes even more targeted towards ourselves, where we lash out against ourselves for being built the way that we are. And then this turns inward to depression, anxiety, feeling emotional overwhelm all the time, or that suffering that I don't want you to have. So when this happens, we're trying to control ourselves to be something that we're not. And that is exhausting. And that sense of trying to control ourselves is the part that causes suffering. And so when I say control ourselves, it's not like I want you to be emotionally out of control. I mean, when you're denying your sensitivity and trying to control not being sensitive all the time, of course, whatever we try to control and resist, it persists. And so we really want to be able to relate to our sensitivity, not as something that is bad or makes us weak, because that's going to create a cycle that is going to be terrible for our emotional wellness and mental health. When the reality is that your sensitivity is truly meant to be a gift. And I know that can feel hard to hear if you're really struggling with it, but I would not be saying this to you if I have not walked this path of sensitivity and knowing the struggle of it, to coming to the other side of where I'm so incredibly grateful to have been given such a blessing of a gift. Again, I know it doesn't feel like a blessing when you don't know what to do with it. And today we're going to start to change that for you. Okay. So what I want to discuss is what's going on that I see where people start to go wrong with their sensitivity. And number one, I kind of said it already, but let's say it again, is when we are managing our sensitivity, like it's something that we're supposed to manage so that we're not overly sensitive. Or we're just trying to make ourselves less sensitive. Again, this is really exhausting. And it's like, you've been given this gift, so why would you want to make yourself less of a gift? Well, we only do that when we don't understand it's a gift. But again, what we resist persists because we are judging ourselves or seeing ourselves as weak or broken. And the whole point of this podcast is to help you remember your wholeness. And there is a beautiful wholeness to who you are, as you are, sensitive and all, and especially sensitive. Okay. So you are not broken, you are different. And it's about honoring this difference and recognizing that when we are different, it's only up to you to learn how to work with your differences. That's not on anyone else. It's up to you. And when you can learn to receive this, you'll actually be helping others to do the same and then start to make a change, right? So here's a hint. When we judge something, that's exactly what we need to learn to receive. So if you've ever had like someone that you judge, you just don't like an aspect of their personality, that's probably a part of your personality that you're being asked to receive, right? And not that you're meant to receive the unhealthy version of that person's personality, but how can you receive the wholeness to who you are, where at moments you do have aspects of that personality, and what is the benefit to it? And so when we bring this practice into ourselves as a sensitive, it's teaching us to receive via honoring what we're sensitive to, despite others not understanding what you are sensing. Like, it doesn't matter if others can validate that for you, sense the same as you. You want to be practicing to receive your sensitivity, the information you're receiving, and you validating it for you. And the more you can do this, the more you are going to start to build self-trust, because you're allowing yourself space that what you're sensing can be true as equal to what someone else is physically seeing. And when you can start to hold space that, okay, I might not have the physical proof that what I'm sensing is real, but I'm going to leave room and space for that to be a possibility, then you are turning into more, you're turning into your sensitivity, and you're tuning into your sensitivity as a place of valid information. And this not only allows you to, again, experience in the world what others are only experiencing through the 3D, you're able to go to this place of the 5D where you're receiving information that isn't seen, but can still be true. And only you can begin to honor that for yourselves. Now, when we've been taught to deny this part of ourselves, that this part of ourselves is wrong, that we don't know what we're talking about, this becomes very harmful for not only our sense of self-trust, but what I found with myself and other sensitives is there can be this sense of learned helplessness. We start to identify ourselves as weak. We're weaker than others who can hold their feelings in and not show any emotion. And I'm saying this from love because it took me a long time to recognize the ways where I've had this learned helplessness. And it's not true. It's not true for me. It's not true for you. You know the way to your wholeness. We all do. And you've just been taught not to trust it. And so it's really vital to see and recognize your strength when you're picking up all this information and insight and you're still able to hold it. I mean, come on. I would say that makes you stronger, that you're taking in all this information that others, they have no clue about, and you're able to take it in. And now you're learning to honor it, and soon you'll be able to process it as well. So it's a skill set. So just because you've been given a gift doesn't mean you don't have to learn the skill. There are very talented musicians, and you can ask them. I've worked with a professional musician, and the amount of practice that goes into being able to bring this gift forward is constant fine-tuning. And if this is how you're built, this is something that you want to tune into as well, because it's going to allow you to sense your innate strength and knowingness. So honoring what you are coming in and what you are able to handle. You are stronger than most because you are receiving more than most. And so being able to see that your sensitivity is guiding you to learn greater inner strength. And again, it's not what we've been taught. We've been taught this makes us weak. Actually, you are built for greater inner strength. And I'm going to get more into that. I think the bottom line is that no one can do this for us. So if you learned helplessness like I did, we can push that responsibility of our sensitivity onto someone else. And I see people doing this, and I know they don't intentionally mean to, because again, they don't know what to do with their sensitivity, but they kind of make others have to navigate their lives around someone else's sensitivity. So I'll give you this example where there was a coach that I was working with, and she was sharing with me how she guided someone who had this sensitivity to gum chewing to tell anyone that she was around to please stop chewing their gum. And she's like, well, that's standing up for herself. I'm like, well, it may be standing up for herself, and it's important to have healthy boundaries, but she's not taking responsibility for her sensitivity. With great gifts comes great responsibility. You are responsible for yourself. You're responsible for your emotions. And we can't make other people responsible for your sensitivity. And so the whole population is supposed to bend and contort themselves because this person is sensitive to gum chewing? Or can this person who's sensitive to gum chewing start to look within herself? It was a she. So can she look at herself, or can you look at yourself if it's something that annoys you or anything that gets on your nerves like that, where you can relate, and yes, you wish people would just stop doing it? Can you take real responsibility by saying, what is this telling me about my perception, about how my mind, my ego wants to hold on to this noise that is outside of my control and grab onto it and make it a thing when there's all these other beautiful noises around me, when there's all these other aspects to life happening around me. And what is it telling me about me that I'm trying to control this? I mean, that's the invitation. And I know it's not comfortable. I know we want people to bend and contort for us. I mean, it can be part of our human nature, but that's part of our ego, right? Because our ego wants to win. Our ego wants to get what we want. We want our way. And so we might win in the short term by telling someone to do that and they stop. But in the long term, you're never going to feel empowered, because your true power is always going to come from looking within. Now, sure, if you have a close relationship with someone and they are chewing their gum like a cow, then you can say, hey, can you tone it down on the chewing of the gum? And they'll probably laugh and say, sure, right? So I get it. Like, there's going to be human interactions that annoy us, and we can speak up and have a boundary around that. I would say more of your personal boundaries around sensitivity are like, I'm not going to watch shows that include violence, even though, everybody else is. It keeps me up at night. Or I need to go to bed by midnight. If everyone else wants to keep, having fun and doing their thing, great. I'm going to bed. Those type of boundaries where it's self-care for yourself is absolutely something that you want to be able to stand up for and strengthen. And we want to take responsibility for our sensitivity in a way that empowers us and doesn't put the onus on others to have to bend and contort to us. Because again, our sensitivity is to strengthen us. And so where I want to go into next with this is how, because we don't see sensitivity strengthening us, that we turn to this place of like, okay, I've been working on my emotions, I've been working on myself, I've been working on my sensitivities, and I have done the inner work. And how much more can there be, for crying out loud? I just want to be done. I want to be done with it, right? And I get it. And I feel as long as we are alive, we're not going to be done. And here's why this is good news. Hopefully for you, you're not ever done. I don't want to be done, because the opposite to me being done isn't inner peace, which is what your ego is trying to convince you. It's contraction. If you're done, you're contracting, you're done growing, you're done learning. And I invite us through our sensitivity to expand into more love, the more expansiveness of life, the more love that I'm being taught through other humans, through life's experiences. This is the inner work that we want to, I hope, be a part of day to day as a part of our life, because it makes life more expansive rather than contracting. I'm shutting down. I can't handle it. So I want to honor that part of you that says I can't handle it. To say you can't handle it, how you are going about doing it. And the can't handling it means you just need to change how you are able to process it. So it doesn't mean like I'm done. It means I need another way. What's my next way for me that's going to help me based on where I'm at? And that's the opportunity. That's the growth. Because especially you being a sensitive person, like your sensitivity is probably a part of your life's mission. It's probably a part of your destiny. And what I mean by that is you are likely going to be, if you're sensitive, you're going to be guided to do more inner work than others. You can't compare that to others where this is not a part of their destiny. So we don't need, let's say, a finance person or an attorney, I don't know, maybe, but we don't need them to perhaps be so sensitive. Maybe they need to be in the numbers and the analytical, and that's where they're meant to make an impact, and they're informed about, and they're going to help sensitive people make informed decisions based on their expertise. Well, guess what? We've got to help others do the same because of our sensitivity. This brings us as our strength, that we are able to be more informed about the inner workings, about self-gnosis, self-awareness, so that you can value this within yourself, so that you can teach others that it's safe and important and valuable for them to honor this within themselves, especially when it's not their gift, that you can help bring that forward. So you can see how important this is, I hope, given where we're at in society, because you, my sensitives, are needed more than ever. I say this often, but I don't know if it's really landing. And so I really want you to get this, is that people are suffering because they don't know how to navigate the inner world. And I know it has felt scary and hard and challenging at times, that there are those around you who don't know how to navigate it and don't know how to guide you through it. But that is all changing. And you stepping into the courage of going into this pretty much, uncharted territory allows you to be the person that makes it safe for another. But you've got to learn to give that safety to yourself first. And what I'll share with you is, after working with Fortune 500 companies, is that, let me tell you, they are looking for leaders who have this self-awareness. And so that does not just happen. That happens by putting in the time and attention to oneself in a healthy way, in an empowered way, to understand oneself, because corporations are recognizing that to have a leader that knows themselves, that they're going to help others when they're struggling too. And people, employees are still struggling. And so we need you, if you were born sensitive, to really lean into it. I invite you to lean into it, because I know that it's a trait that can bring so much more expansiveness and love, not only in your life, but has this ripple effect into the lives of others. You're literally opening up people to greater self-love, self-trust, self-worth, just by you stepping in this for yourself, because you have no idea the ripple effect you showing up with greater self-awareness has on others. You have no idea how that can just change the trajectory of someone's day, their life. Because whether you're doing this for you and your children, your company, your friends, your coworkers, whatever, like, there's this ripple effect that happens. You're being a model for how to respond to life rather than be reactive. And who can walk their talk more than you, someone who's so sensitive to it all? And if you can respond rather than react, then you're giving others the empowerment to let them know they can do the same, and they can lean into their inner knowing and their inner wisdom to create a different energetic pathway in how we deal with one another, how we relate to one another, how we communicate with one another, that's coming from more respect, honor, and love. And of course, it's got to start with ourselves. So we want to keep unraveling that which is not our truth. I mean, what a gift that you're sensitive and you can be aware that something's wrong, and you're aware of your emotions that are telling you, yo, this is not working for you. When I work with people who are very analytical and in their mind, and it takes them so much longer to just even connect with that, here you are as a sensitive, you've got the leg up. You've got the leg up. And so we want to keep unraveling, because it's guiding you more to your truth, and it's guiding you to receive more and more and more love. Your sensitivity makes you geared toward receiving all the goodness life wants to shower upon you. And it's doing that by teaching you how to receive in ways that's life affirming rather than life depleting. So negative feelings arise more within you because you were built to learn how to navigate your feelings like emotional waves. And you're going to keep getting hit with these emotional waves until you learn how to be this pro surfer with these waves, right? When you build your emotional skills, you are still going to experience negative feelings. It's not about how do I get rid of negative feelings for the rest of my life. You don't want that. They are there to tell you when you're off course. So you want them to guide you. And you don't, when you learn how to work with them, it's not causing you the pain. It's not causing you the suffering. You're not taking it personally. So what happens is you experience the negative feeling. It gets you back on course and how you can enhance your life. And you start feeling more and more alive, because you realize you're built to receive it all. You are built to receive it all. The hard, challenging, the good, the sweetness, the pleasure, you are built for it. You are built for it. And when you receive this, you will become more powerful through it. And people need this type of loving power that's coming from within, that's not power over, that's coming from love more than ever. So we're going to say goodbye to the learned helplessness story about being sensitive, to believing that you're weak, because we know you are strong, and that there is not a thing wrong with you. You were just built special, different, with a unique gift that's needed more than ever. And to recognize that you are more right than you can ever comprehend. So when you fully receive all of who you are and see it and honor it and utilize this gift for the greater good, trust me that you will be honored. Others will be in awe of your wisdom because it's going to radiate from you in a way where it comes from a place of you really stepping into what was super challenging for you and what others would deem is uncomfortable. And you've learned how to receive it as a beautiful, beautiful gift. So I invite you to continue to open doors that guide you to better understand and know and love yourself, because that's what we're here for, right? So keep opening those doors. I hope that this podcast can be one of those doorways for you where it continues to remind you to embrace all of who you are and come from a place of empowerment and expansion. I also want to share with you that I have a special event coming up that I think you're going to love. It's called the Chakra Reboot. Chakra Reboot. Break free from emotional blockages and regain your inner power. I know, it's cool. It's going to be cool. So this is a live practice that I'm going to be taking you through, where I'm guiding you on how you can take basically an emotional assessment of your chakras and see where there might be some stuck energy, see which ones are flowing good for you. And so I'll just share the link below, but please sign up for it quickly because it's an event that's coming up quickly and I don't want you to miss out. All right, my sensitive, spiritual, strong people, thank you so, so much for allowing me in your day today. I hope you always remember that until next time, you are divine perfection exactly as you are. You are whole exactly as you are. And there is nothing to prove, just to remember. See you next time.
I am so honored you have joined me today. If you enjoyed the I'm Perfectly Divine podcast, subscribe so you don't miss any of our power-filled episodes. Also, if you know another who is strong, sensitive, and spiritual and wants to dive deeper into emotions and ancient wisdom so they too can create profound peace and fulfillment from within, please share this podcast. Thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to reconnecting with you soon.